The Pennine Way is the toughest and wildest long-distance walk in England.
For those brave enough to attempt it, it can be 268 miles of mud, sweat and tears.
It's gruelling, but the rewards are amazing.
Just look at the beauty of it. It's magnificent.
The Pennine Way was Britain's first national trail. It's a journey along the elevated backbone of England, a major physical challenge, a walk to escape the buzz of modern life.
And now the Pennine Way has reached its own milestone. It's 50 years old.
In this series, I'm seeing the Pennines in a very different way.
It's nice to have a little challenge in your life and see if you can still do it.
But I'm also looking at life along the trail, just how much has changed since the first walkers set out on the Pennine Way all those years ago. You just can't beat going for a walk. And when the scenery is as stunning as this, it's a real joy. My Pennine Way journey has brought me to Yorkshire, the land of the Tykes and the Dales. In this episode, I'm picking up the path as it heads towards the tourist hotspot of Malham. It's then north past the Three Peaks before dropping down to the market town of Hawes. It's then onwards and upwards for a well-earned pint at Britain's highest pub at Tan Hill. I'm Paul Rose, and I've been lucky enough to explore all over the planet. But the Pennine Way is new territory for me. I'm not walking every mile of the route, but I'm looking forward to sampling some of the best bits. And this is one of the places that makes the Pennine Way so special. I'm heading for a place of pilgrimage near the village of Haworth. The path goes right past Top Withens, inspiration, some say, for Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights. And it draws in people from all over the globe. All right, Simon, great place to take pictures.
Hello.
Yeah, you're right.
How did you?
Can I have a look at what you're doing?
Oh, yes, yes.
Photographer Simon Warner hasn't come too far, though. He lives close to the Pennine Way, and this is one of his favourite spots.
It's quite a spot, really. It really does have an atmosphere.
And is that where it all happened?
Oh, well, I'm not so sure about that. There's some people who poo-poo the whole idea about the Bronte connection. And there's a plaque on the building that the Bronte Society put up years ago saying that it doesn't really bear any relation to the house she describes in the novel, Wuthering Heights.
Oh, Heathcliff, you must not do this villainous thing. She hasn't harmed you.
You have.
Then punish me.
The iconic tale of love and revenge on the Yorkshire moors has captivated audiences of all kinds. Hollywood certainly loved it, but long before cinema came along, Top Withen's remote location was a place to visit. So way before Gore-Tex was invented, and a long way before the Pennine Way was even dreamed about, people have been coming up here.
Oh, yes, there were local walking clubs that came up from the local industrial towns like Keighley. And they'd come up, groups of men, 20 or 30 of them, maybe on 25-mile walks, that would take in somewhere like this on their way to Hebden Bridge, perhaps. And they would often walk at night, in order to be free of working hours. They would sing songs, and it's quite romantic to think of that sort of thing going on.
I can see why those early walkers loved getting out. At more than 400 metres above sea level, it was a world away from the factories and mills in the valleys.
If you go due east from here,
Okay.
past the power stations, across the North Sea, if you follow the line of latitude from Top Withens, there is no higher ground until you get to the southern Ural Mountains. 3,000 miles, that's the next ground that's any higher than this.
So that's why that easterly wind has got such a big bite.
The Brontes hated the east wind. It's well recorded. We all do, those of us who live around here.
Top Withens was lived in until the 1920s, but whatever its true connections to the book, this ruin remains a highlight of any visit to Bronte country. next stop on my Pennine Way journey is the Yorkshire Dales village of Malham, and my visit has coincided with one of the big dates in the calendar. It's Malham Show.
We are on time for the Grand Parade.
The event's been here for as long as anyone can remember, and not much has changed. It's still a place to show off the best that Malhamdale can produce and have a bit of fun.
You can make your way back in, then we'll make a decision on the best dog in the show.
I've been asked to judge the dog show, and I'm spoilt for choice.
Best looking dog, right? And they're all absolutely beautiful. Hello! Hello, yeah, lovely, lovely, lovely. How about this one? Can I give this one to her? Yes, hello.
I've got a soft spot for all dogs, but this one had to win Best in Show. It's only got 3 legs.
There you go. Yes, well done, yes. She's lovely. Well done.
Malham has special significance for anyone doing the Pennine Way. The route was launched here in April 1965. Its architect was Tom Stevenson, a man who didn't shy away from confronting landowners.
I remember being on one of these hills as a lad. The gamekeeper came up to me and he said, "Does to know that trespassing?" I said, "What are you going to do about it? Prosecute or shoot?"
Tom was a journalist and rambler who wouldn't take a backward step in his campaign to establish a long green trail across the north's rugged uplands. He wanted the walk to be a physical test, and the route, which starts at Edale in the Derbyshire Peak District and ends at Kurt Yettam in Scotland, is certainly that. And when it was officially opened in Malham, it caused a bit of a stir.
Well, there was a lot of people gathered, but they all walked here. There were no cars much in them days.
What was it like?
Well, it was a bit primitive. There were no crowds or no microphones or anything. They were all in the walking gear. That was the funny part about it. It was a big occasion, but they were all dressed in their outdoor clothes.
And it's just a short step from the showground to another of Malham's great attractions.
Wow, when it comes to views and a sense of natural energy on the Pennine Way, this is going to be really hard to beat. Blooming marvellous.
The Pennine Way path goes right up the side of Malham Cove. These cliffs are 80 metres high, and the limestone pavement on the top is a thing of beauty. The limestone is more than 300 million years old, but the cracks are more recent. Thousands of years of slightly acidic rainwater has exploited flaws in the rock, and it's a landscape now used by some remarkable athletes.
Oh, look at that. It's absolutely stunning. It's premier climbing country, this, and that is one of Britain's best rock climbers.
Steve McClure could give Spider-Man tips on how to cling to a vertical rock face. He's climbed all over the globe, but Malham keeps drawing him back. There are almost 200 different routes. Some are highly technical, others are almost impossible.
It feels to me, sitting here with you with this fantastic backdrop behind you, that it's almost projecting power that way.
It does kind of feel like that, and certainly when you're climbing off the big ledge here, you feel like you're up there in a really strong position. It all curves around you and you've got this amazing view down the valley. It's really quite special, it's quite atmospheric.
Yeah. And of course you're on a quest for even more new routes.
Yeah, I mean there's one really hard project left which I haven't climbed, and I've been banging my head against it for a while now. It's really hard, but it's really amazing, and it's exactly the challenge that I want. I don't want it to be too easy, I want it to be really hard. It's taken me a few years, I've still not conquered it yet.
How many years have you been trying that route?
4 years.
So in 4 years, how many actual attempts is that?
It's probably about 30 or 40 actual tries of the route, inching a bit higher and a bit higher and a bit higher. I've been within 2 metres of success.
2 metres?
Yeah, 2 metres. Yeah, it sounds close, but it's actually still quite far away.
50 years ago, it's unlikely walkers would have seen people on the main cliff face. Climbing technology wasn't that advanced, but they would have seen rock climbers on the wings of the cove, which is exactly where I'm heading.
It looks quite tricky at the start.
Oh no.
It's quite steep. But
The last thing I was hoping you'd say.
Yeah. I can see some good holes though. There's a good hole there, you see that one?
Sometimes what you need is a bit of truly bad advice, you know,
Yeah,
like, this
okay.
is a piece of cake, Paul. Yeah.
This looks really easy, so.
My big challenge is to get off the ground.
The real key to it is choosing a foothold, keeping your eyes on the foothold. It's tempting to scrabble,
Yes.
but try not to do that. You won't do that. You've done it before, you'll be fine.
That's easy for Steve to say. He's one of the best climbers on the planet.
It is going to be quite a steep pull here. See, the footholds are small.
Yeah, I'm watching where you're going.
And he's soon out of sight and on his way to the top.
I love the way Steve makes this all look completely effortless, just sort of gliding up there. You'll soon see how hard it is when I get on there. How you getting on, Steve?
Yeah, nearly up. I'll let you know when I'm up. Okay, I'm at the top now.
Okay, nice one. All right, Steve, here I come, mate.
Okay, go to it.
What's tricky is remembering exactly what Steve did, because he did make it look so easy.
It's been a while since I've done any climbing as tough as this, but here goes.
Nice one.
The old muscle memory is starting to kick in, but crikey, it hurts.
Whoops.
I reckon you're cruising that.
I'm off the ground, Steve.
Oh yeah, zoom in now.
I don't know.
I'm beginning to wonder whether I've bitten off more than I can chew.
How's it going down there?
All right, I think, Steve. It's a lot harder than it looks. Wow. Because just on a climb like this that's so steep, just staying in place takes a lot of effort.
Go on, that's it. Pull yourself up. Bit further, bit further, bit further. Oh, that's it, yeah, you're in.
Wow. You're a good man, Steve. Now where?
Now you kind of head back into the crack again now.
Okay.
For the exciting finale.
Phew, I don't know about a finale. I'm almost finished.
Go on. Go on. Go on. Get that knee on.
I did. Oh, had to get the knee on. Oh, Steve. Wow.
Good job.
Well.
How about that?
Oh, man. Wow. I'm not completely there yet, but near enough.
Near enough.
Hang on, let me get out. Oof.
One there.
All right, mate.
Good job, dude. Good, eh? Good route.
Thank you, Steve. What a perfect way to enjoy the Pennine Way. Woof.
Yeah, what a view, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Beat that.
Yeah, this has been a great day.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
The climbing was exhilarating, but with my arms aching and heart still racing, I'm heading deeper into the Yorkshire Dales. As well as the Pennine Way, this part of Yorkshire is home to the three peaks, Wensleydale, Ingleborough and Pennine Way. And over the years they've been a magnet for all sorts of adventurous types.
Number 74 has just gone through there, I think.
When John Noakes and his faithful sidekick Shep came here for Go With Noakes, he found himself acting as a steward on a cyclocross challenge.
Come on, you're doing very well, number one. That's why he's number one.
Some were having better luck than others.
Oh, there goes number two.
My journey from Pennine Way is a much more sedate affair as I head towards one of the main stopping off points on this part of the route. This is Horton in Ribblesdale, where two great walking trails meet.
It's a great place. It's an iconic centre for walking in Britain. It's on the Pennine Way, and it's the place to stop if you're going to do the Three Peaks. And of course it means a lot to us when we do these walks, so we're all compelled to write, and thousands of people have put their notes in these great logbook. But it's given me quite a sense of what people are really up against. You know, there's a brilliant one here. Started with 3 friends who have all since dropped out. And there's one here, wet. I was lucky my tent didn't capsize.
This part of the Yorkshire Dales attracts visitors for all sorts of reasons. Some come to see the Ribblehead Viaduct on the settled Carlisle railway line. I think the 24 arches carrying this quarter-mile stretch of track have added even more grandeur to the landscape. But there's a less visible highlight that's been bringing people here for years. The limestone caves of the Yorkshire Dales are world famous. There's a bit of everything, from gigantic holes that could swallow a cathedral to squeezes that would get the last bit out of your toothpaste.
This is a walk down memory lane for me.
It's been a long time then.
It's been a long time since I've been down here.
They haven't changed much.
There's something special about what lies beneath these Pennine Hills.
Well, the water level's not so bad, Sean. No, it's pretty low today. It's all right, isn't it?
My guide today is caver Sean Whittle, who's showing me the way through the Long Churn system. It's a Yorkshire Dales classic with a beautiful waterfall and a few tight spots that I just can't resist.
You know, I'm going to give this a go. I think I can still do it if I suck in a bit. Let's see if I can get in there. It's a bit tighter than I remembered, but it is worth giving these things a go, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure to a lot of people it seems a bit perverse to find a route like that. There's an easy way over there, but it is nice to have a little challenge in your life and see if you can still do it. Come on.
The Pennine Range is a never-ending source of wonderment to the explorer, if only because of its potholes.
When caving took off in pre-war Britain, they were using the best equipment they had. Rope ladders were treacherous, and the headgear didn't offer much protection. But in the last 50 years, caving has undergone a revolution.
I've done a stupid thing. I've slipped right down and my head's stuck.
A new generation of technical equipment meant cavers could spend more time underground and go further than ever before. Driven by courage or madness, scores of young men and women wormed their way under the Yorkshire Dales. It was a new age of exploration, right under our feet.
This is just great, Sean. Enjoying it? Yeah. So how big is the whole system?
Biggest one, 3-county system, you're pushing 100 kilometres. That's including the flooded bits.
100 kilometres?
Yeah, you can go underground in Yorkshire, go under Lancashire and come out in Cumbria. It's quite an undertaking, is that. We've dreamed about that for years. They knew it existed, and finally a couple of years ago some of the hardened cavers pushed through, made the 3-county system a reality.
Wow, because it's so adventurous. I mean, it's got such an appeal. It's real genuine pioneering exploration right here.
It's brand new exploration. You can't do much of that in the UK these days. You're going to have to go to Antarctica, you're going to have to go to the Himalaya. Within an hour's drive from your own home, you can be standing in places where nobody else has been before.
Yes!
That's what we want.
Thank heavens for human curiosity. It feels to me there was a natural progression from walking on the Pennine Way to crawling through the tunnels below it. And I, for one, am more than happy to do both. Back above ground, I'm in the capital of Wensleydale in the small market town of Hawes. It's a great place to stock up and witness a local spectacle.
99 think about it, 99 £100, £100 if you like, have £100, everybody else have, out the slack.
There's been an auction mart at Hawes since the turn of the 20th century, and it's as traditional as they come.
3, 4, 5, 75, 75, 75, 75, 100, 75. Sending all 42 kilos. Them's a good pen of them. How much for all? Anybody start for them this time? Anybody start?
First prize out of Mule Yowes.
It's still the place for the farming community of Wensleydale and beyond to gather and have a bit of a natter.
See, this is great. This is something that hasn't changed in 50 years of the Pennine Way. It's the backbone of the social and economic structure of the region, you know, sheep farming. And it all comes together here at the Horse Auction Mart. So glad I stopped in to see it.
£60 mate, £60 if your eyes up, a £60 about a £60 about a £60 one.
It's just a few hundred sheep going through the mart today, but at certain times of the year, this place is pure bedlam, with up to 15,000 animals going through the auction in one day.
About £101 about a 102, 103, 103, 103, 4, 100.
It might be quieter today, but traders are still looking for a bargain.
107.15, Arthur Slack 1.
Arthur Slack is buying for the meat trade and has been coming to the auction for half a century.
So in 50 years, what's changed in this market, you reckon?
Well, they're about 4 times the price now they were then.
Are they?
Aye.
Same number of sheep?
There was a lot more sheep then.
Was it?
But, you know, foot and mouth wiped a lot out.
Yes.
The numbers have never got back.
Well, the price is good?
They are at the moment.
Are they?
Because there's a shortage at the moment.
Yes. So there's like a timing thing as to when the farmers bring the sheep in,
That's
right?
it. You see the lamb up here in the end of March and April. Well, there isn't many lambs coming forward yet. So there's a shortage of lamb, which makes them dear.
Got it.
It's like anything else.
Supply and demand.
Supply and demand, and there's a very fine line.
Yeah.
Arthur certainly knows his livestock, unlike me.
What's that?
It's a goat.
What's he doing in it?
Well, there we go.
Having worked out the difference between a goat and a sheep, I think it's time for me to move on. Just a mile or so from Hawes is the village of Hardraw. For a few quid paid at the local pub, you can sneak a peek at one of England's record breakers.
It's worth making a little detour off the Pennine Way to come here to Hardraw Force, the highest waterfall above ground in England. It's been drawing people here for centuries, including artists like Turner. It's a great feeling here. The only thing that would make it more perfect for me, if I happened to be on the same day in the 19th century when Charles Blondin, the famous tightrope walker, put a cable across here and stopped halfway across to cook an omelette.
I've left Wensleydale behind and I'm heading for another prime Pennine Way location.
You do have to stop on these journeys and take a minute to look around. And here in Wensleydale, which is really the crown jewel of the Yorkshire Dales, you just can't beat it. And I do it even when the weather's gruesome and I'm flagging. It seems that the stop, absorbing the scenery, seems to add energy and vitality and keep you going for the rest of the walk.
This is a land of stone barns, big views and beautiful villages. Thwaite has a resident population of around 20, but despite its small size, it's produced some remarkable people.
Thwaite's big claim to fame is the Kearton brothers, Richard and Cherry. Over 100 years ago, they were at the cutting edge of nature photography and filmmaking. In fact, Cherry Kearton is considered to be the godfather of wildlife documentaries.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me put you out of your misery at once. You are not going to see me for long. Although I'm inviting you to come on this trip with me, you will only see me occasionally.
Cherry wasn't averse to a bit of self-publicity. He even made a film about his early life in Yorkshire.
I was born in the Yorkshire village of Thwaite, Wensleydale, situated in the very heart of the wild moorlands.
And his deep love of all things that flew, walked or crawled began here.
He had a great reputation of growing up as a proper country boy. He had great talents of being able to tickle trout, you know, get fish just out the river with no fishing gear. And when the landed gentry were here looking for grouse and trying to shoot the grouse, if it was foggy and they weren't flying, he could mimic the bird's call and get them to fly for a successful hunt. Cherry and his brother Richard then went on to take some tremendous nature photographs. There's pictures of them here with sheep hides, as they call them, which is a sheep, but they're inside it, they're inside the skin, using it as cover for the wildlife. And there's another one here of cattle. So they would literally sit in these things for days until the right opportunity arrived. I love this picture too. They've built an enormous high tripod to get pictures of birds, but it's so heavy and so tall, the only way to get pictures was to stand on someone else's shoulders.
The lessons Cherry learned in Wensleydale served him well. He brought remarkable images to the big screen for the very first time and influenced the next generation of wildlife filmmakers, including David Attenborough. I can see why Cherry Kearton loved Thwaite so much, but just like him, I'm leaving Wensleydale and heading for pastures new. The last leg of this stage of my Pennine Way journey sees me heading for a place with a bit of a reputation. At more than 1,700 feet above sea level, the Tan Hill Inn serves alcohol at altitude. This part of the Pennines was once littered with small lead and coal mines, and this is where the workers came for a pint. The mines have long gone, but the demand for beer never went away, and it remains a place of refuge and refreshment.
They see the chimney tops and then they think, oh, because every hill there's a horizon. Every horizon, it's not the pub, it's not the pub, it's not the pub. And there's 17 horizons from Keld to here.
And what are they like when they arrive?
Drowned rats normally, because Tan Hill's got a climate of its own.
This place cops it when the weather turns bad. There aren't many pubs that have their own snowplough, and if you're stranded here, you're expected to chip in.
I say, you'll eat with me, you'll drink with me, and you'll work with me. If I'm doing something, don't expect me to hang around for 2 customers.
Trace is not the first landlady to tough it out at Tan Hill. Back at the turn of the 20th century, Susan Peacock took hold of the pub. She saw its potential as a tourist attraction. With the road network opening up, what better place to go for a coach ride? For the last 50 years, getting as far as the Tan Hill Inn has been the cause for a celebration. After all, you're nearly at the halfway point of the Pennine Way. But some decide this is far enough.
We've had 3 chefs do that. A young boy, I said, what are you doing? He said, Pennine Way. I said, you don't look like the boy that's doing the Pennine Way. His name was Sean. And I said, do you fancy a job? He said, yeah. I said, I like cooking. And he was our chef for 18 months.
Oh, marvellous.
So, yeah, we get them all.
I can certainly see the lure of life at the highest pub in Britain, but I'm not ready to call time on my Pennine Way journey just yet. In the next leg, I take a soaking on the mighty River Tees and get blown away by one of the best views in the country.